Thank you, Selena. The borderland holds a lot of history, including some related to famous outlaws. KTSM 9 News reporter Carla Draxler traveled back in time to tell a tale of Billy the Kid and why Mesilla in New Mexico played such an important role in this destiny.
Legends of the Wild West. Gunmen, outlaws, all live in one place.
This building is the original courthouse where Billy the Kid was tried.
William H. Bonney, best known as Billy the Kid, one of the most famous outlaws of the Wild West, was brought to Mesilla Courthouse from Santa Fe by Sheriff Pat Garrett to face his sentence.
There were just two barred entrances. There were no windows.
This building still stands at the main plaza in Mesilla, not far from Basilica of San Albino. It is a brick-and-mortar reminder of the history of South New Mexico area, the people and the law. Billy was sent here to his trial for crimes he had committed in Lincoln County, about 250 miles northeast of Doña Ana.
The trial was really a farce. He was completely railroaded. The governor had issued a blanket pardon that covered everybody for no matter what the crimes, whether it was murder or anything else during the Lincoln County War, except he put a provision in it that said that it did not apply to anyone that had been indicted already. And it was Billy's very bad luck that just a little before the proclamation pardon was issued, he had been indicted.
This charge was dropped, but the county judge in Lincoln knew another charge on count of murder will send Billy to hang. This is why he chose to send him for trial to Mesilla, where no one knew the circumstances of the murder. Billy was set at the trial to have killed 21 people, one for each year of his life. But this was untrue. He had killed 5 people in his lifetime, one of them being Sheriff Brady from Lincoln County.
And they knew the justification that Billy had for killing Sheriff Brady because they had arrest warrants for Brady for killing another man. And the governor arbitrarily, without the legal authority, nullified the arrest warrants. And so Billy thought they were basically pursuing this guy to arrest him, and they didn't realize the governor had illegally nullified him.
Billy was unable to appeal because the territory's Supreme Court didn't meet for another 3 months, long after his death sentence said in the Mesilla courthouse. He was transferred back to Lincoln County to wait for his hanging, but it didn't take him long to escape, killing 2 guards on the way.
How far are you willing to go to save your life if you've been unjustly pursued by the government?
Billy's story not only lives through books, but it travels from generation to generation. Charles Rogers, also known as Billy, took over Billy the Kid gift shop from his parents, now in the place of the old courthouse.
The reaction, people coming in, they love the history. They love Billy the Kid. Always heard stories of Billy the Kid riding the horses across from one end, dropping it off, jumping on another ranch, riding along. And so those were some of the stories I heard growing up.
Billy's story after Mesilla continues in Fort Sumner, about 270 miles further north, where he escapes to his friend Peter Maxwell.
Had one hand he had a butcher knife, the other hand he had his pistol, and he went over to cut some meat off that was hanging on the porch of Pete Maxwell's house.
Sheriff Pat Garrett had been pursuing Billy for years, and now he had him again.
He saw Garrett's 2 deputies outside Pete's room. He stepped into Pete's room, and these are perhaps the most famous words in Western history. He said, "Quién es?" And of course that was Pat Garrett. If Billy had shot before he said those words, he probably would have survived.
Billy was 16, truly a kid when he lost his mother and turned to gambling to survive. Now he lives in history as a famous outlaw, a murderer. But perhaps Mesilla hides the secret of his true story, the one of a man played by the unjust authorities. Carla Draxler, KTSM 9 News.